to our podcast. This is actually going to be the first podcast. We did one before, but this is going to be the first live podcast that we're shooting. And today we've got on a very special guest, a good friend, and he's in the space of the Web3, and he's doing amazing things there, building on this space. Many people are not even sure what this space is, and this guy is actually building on this space. So he is going to explain a bit more about what is that. So today I'll welcome you guys to Hakeem. Alright?
Hey guys, my name is Hakeem, or Hakeem the Dream. I'm a software engineer working for eBay, and I also have a YouTube channel called WEB3MADE, and it's all about how to build Web3 applications using the latest tools that are available.
So I think before we get into what we're doing and what we're going to be talking about, let's talk a bit more about the Web3 space. Alright? How would you define simply, very easily, what it means to be in the Web3 space? So what the Web3 space is, and
That's a good question. Like Web3 sounds like a confusing term to some people, especially developers. It sounds like a really complicated separate entity to what will be considered Web 2, right? And the way I see it or think about it is Web 3 is simply just the next stage of the internet. So with Web 1 in the 90s and early 2000s, it was like static data, like websites like Wikipedia, really simple, basic websites and communication, where there was no social media, basically. Like, there was no way to have these mass communication platforms.
It's very engaging and interactive platforms.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas today in Web 2, it's all about Facebook, Google, Amazon, and those guys owning your data. So they know everything about you. So they know where you live or your interests, and they can turn off your application. Let's say you got your own application that you post on the internet somewhere. You're most likely using an Amazon web server or a Google server or someone else's computer.
Alright.
And these guys have the power to just turn off your application at the flick of a switch. Right? That's not good.
So what you're kind of saying is we are building our house, our home on people's land.
Yeah, basically.
And it means that they could just plug it off, take it off, kick us out at any time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And honestly, it's just this white line that we are relying that they don't kick us out or nothing happens and we follow their rules. And as long as we are on there, we will be on their land. Right? And how does Web3 helps us, or what's the difference from what is Web3 doing differently from that?
Yeah, good question. So Web3 is all about ownership of assets at the fundamental core. Now, what does that mean? So to own your asset means that only you have access to it and nobody else. Again, I have to go back to the way things work currently in Web 2. So with your bank account, right, it's owned by a bank. Right. Bank is tied to the government, and these guys once again control your assets essentially. And when it comes to Web3, you have a cryptocurrency wallet where only you can access that wallet. Like, they cannot access it no matter what. They can try and enforce it, but it's almost impossible to do. Right. So when it comes to Web3, the way I define it is ownership of assets, ownership of data. Remember I said that these guys have all of your data, so you literally own your data in Web3, and in fact you can actually sell your data through some protocols that exist, so you can actually make money off of it. But yeah, it's all about individual sovereignty and you being responsible for your own stuff, and no one else will tell you what to do. I can transact with anyone in the world at any point in time without a middleman. Right, that's key.
Okay. So we're looking at ownership, we're looking at freedom, and understanding that right now we're trying to gain back the data that we were giving to people, trying to keep it. So privacy is kind of the main concern right here. In the Web3 space, right?
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of people are having a misconception that Web3 is either crypto or NFT, right? But what you are saying is the Web3 is actually just the transition from Web 2 where we were with, because Web 1 was Web 1 till social media pages and the like Microsoft or whatever, when they launched their company, Google launched the search engine, is when the Web 2 started, right? They were because of their technology innovation is when the Web 2 started, and now with whatever Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin or whoever created NFTs, the first NFTs, Ethereum as well would be these smart contract. We'll talk a bit more of that. But because of the innovation and creation of that is now leading to the Web3, right?
Yes.
And we are now, when maybe our parents were there when they saw Web 1 going to Web 2, when Microsoft was launched or whatever, and now we are seeing Web 2 going to Web 3.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what would be the best way to understand and start in this Web 3 space?
To understand,
like, basically, people are thinking Web 3 is just NFTs. Right? Or maybe we can say, how would people understand NFTs?
Okay, NFTs. Again, going back to what I just said, it's about ownership of assets. So NFTs are just proof of ownership. It's like, I used this analogy earlier, but like this monster can here is like, imagine if this monster can had an NFT that was tied to it, right? It's to prove that I own this monster can, and then whoever I traded with would then own that NFT to prove that they own this monster can. But the way it works in Web3 is that this obviously would be a digital asset, so it could be like a piece of artwork, or it could be a cryptocurrency or whatever, and I can transact that with anyone I want. So when it comes to NFTs, the term NFT itself stands for non-fungible token, right? That means it can't be faked. So when it comes to things like e-commerce, like the area that I specialize in, it's huge. Because you have all these like fake items, counterfeit clothing, right? So when if you can have an NFT that proves only a certain supply of this thing exists.
Right. Okay, so that means you would have utmost ownership or authenticity would be there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So NFTs kind of solve one of the major problems, which is duplication or imitation. Right? And now with going to Web3 and cryptocurrency, right, we're seeing that a lot of things are now duplicated. Whether it's products from anywhere from a shoe to a shirt, or if you're looking for digital products, that could be, digital products. The main problem with digital products earlier on would be that a picture could be retaken. It should be screenshotted, right? I can take a music video, I can record it on my phone. Whoever sings it, just say I got a Kanye West song, but I record it first and I post it out. Does that mean I posted out Kanye West music? There's no authenticity of that, right? So it goes for money as well. Money is imitated. We have seen so much counterfeit money out there as well. And are you saying that NFTs is the technology that can authentify all this?
Pretty much. And also, you mentioned money just there. Money is like not even real. So the way money works is like you've got the central banks that just print it endlessly. So money is essentially like fake.
Exactly.
And it's funny because a lot of people think that cryptocurrencies are fake, but they're actually more real than real money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think in my recent video where we talked about CBDCs, and another video that's coming up where I talk a bit more on what you spoke about the federal banks. And the people don't even know people are out there counterfeiting money out there, but really the government is counterfeiting their own money, right? There is no different from a guy faking, whether he's faking out another product and the government faking out the same product. It's the same thing. They're just printing something based on nothing. But I think that would be a bit of a stray away from what we're talking about, because I think that needs an entire new video and a podcast on just explaining what is that. But I think when we were talking on the topic of money, cryptocurrencies, right? How do they tie in with the Web3 space? That means, what I mean is like e-commerce. You're working a lot of e-commerce. I think I'll ask you a bit more on that, but you're working at e-commerce. Do you think there'll be a time when Amazon or eBay is going to be accepting crypto? I'm not sure if they're accepting already or not, but would they be accepting crypto payments? or would it just be an alternative payment, or would there ever be a time where it becomes the main primary payment?
Yeah, good question. So unfortunately, I can't say too much about eBay.
Yeah, true.
But in terms of like what I think generally, I think cryptocurrencies, you got to look at who's buying up the current market right now. So right now we're in a bear market,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see there's big institutions scooping up a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum,
Yeah.
right, storing it off-chain in their own wallets. So that would tell me that cryptocurrencies, especially the main ones, Bitcoin and Ethereum, have a lot of intrinsic value.
Right.
And so if you were to ask me, would Amazon, eBay, or other e-commerce giants accept these currencies, I would say most likely. Most likely. Yeah. And that's not to say that fiat's dead or whatever. Like, fiat's still a thing. Fiat currency is still, I still need it to buy groceries.
Still need it, yeah.
But long term, I think that a lot of these big institutions see the value of cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think, as what you said, there are multiple big institutions are definitely buying up crypto, definitely storing up a lot more.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's not enough news to show that the big institutions are buying them.
Yeah, right.
And people are thinking that the market is dumping, but honestly, the market is dumping because someone else is going to buy it at a lower price. So when someone sells off their crypto, it doesn't mean that they are selling off to take a profit. Someone is selling at a cheaper price for someone else to buy at a better price. I think that's what's happening. So I think we'll move on to understand what is because I think we went for the interview, right?
Yeah.
There was a talk about where the centralized exchange of the wallet. So the anonymousness of decentralization, right? Would it be better for everything to be decentralized, or would it have a problem? So what I mean by this is, so what if everything is anonymous, everything is so private?
Yeah.
Would it be a problem? And even you're working on eBay, people are buying as a person selling something on eBay, or as a company that sells something as a giving the platform.
Yeah.
If everything is so private,
Yeah.
would it be better? What I mean is, I get what I'm explaining is,
I think I know what you mean.
yeah. So if everything is so private and the the transactions are so closed ends, would this be a problem when people try to, how to say, have some sort of illegal activities?
Yes.
And what if something happens? So I'm selling a product, and bitcoins or whatever transaction is happening. I understand that the technology is we're relying on the technology.
Yeah.
But what if I don't know my customer, right?
Yeah.
And
KYC.
is not there. So won't it? So the thing I'm asking is also for someone that wants to transact and be anonymous, but what I see actually, the crypto and Web3 space is giving more clarity than anonymousness.
Yes.
Because cash means you will not know. I'm being actually anonymous. If I transact cash with
There's no record.
there is no record anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, is that safer, or is transacting in crypto where yes, my name is hidden, my name and my wallet address is hidden, but you would still, and like what we went to the event, there is still somebody at some place where you'll be able to track back who am I.
Yes.
So there is not really you would still be able to track back who am I. So how do you think about that? It's like a contradicting thing.
I know what you mean. It was funny. So do you remember the event where we met, right?
Yeah.
Chain Analysis was there.
Yeah, chain analysis. Yeah.
And they were literally saying that it doesn't matter even if it's the blockchain, right, where it's just like hashes for transactions, so just like 32 hexadecimal, strings. You can still trace that back because eventually they're going to have to off-ramp that cryptocurrency at a centralized exchange. So like you can always
Track it back.
So you mentioned it like criminal activity. Chain analysis is great for that. But from like a company perspective, you do still want a KYC to abide by the law. But yeah, like I think with anonymous, like when it comes to big companies, they need to know who the customers are.
Yeah.
But for these like DEXs and like these decentralized applications or dApps as they're called, They're designed to not have KYC,
Okay.
but you can still track who it is on chain by using chain analysis as tools or other security auditors that can see, okay, this guy has like tried to do some crazy transactions here, and then they're trying to like hide it over here. Like you can still see that.
I think when it comes at a larger scale, it gives more clarity and it really it avoids. That's what she spoke about what her name. I think Jen, was it Jen? Or,
I can't
I can't remember. But I think she said that although I understand it's it's the privacy and thing, but it is still available for people who want illegal actions to use it. So
cash is way worse for that.
Yeah, exactly.
The dodgiest shit.
The dodges. So you'd rather be safe than be sorry. I think in the end, right? Yeah.